Hey, what's going on, guys? So we are 2 days into the Sentinel League, so I decided to give you an update on what I have been doing so far in terms of the strategy, build that I'm playing, and what are my plans for the next few days. So first of all, the build that I'm playing is Toxic Rain, as you can see, and a lot of people have been asking me why am I playing Toxic Rain after it has been nerfed a few times, and to be honest, it's not that great of a build anymore. And the reason for that is, first of all, most of the time when I choose what to play as a league starter in the new league, first thing I choose is what strategy I am going for, and then I am choosing the build for that strategy. And Toxic Rain is overall pretty bad when it comes to progressing the Atlas, in my opinion, but for the strategy that I went for this league, this build is actually still pretty nice. So the strategy that I went for is doing endless heist early on, and the Raider Ascendancy is probably the best Ascendancy to do heist because of the onslaught and phasing. Phasing is actually pretty nice for endless heist. So that's what I have been doing for the first 10 to 15 hours. I just have been grinding endless heist, and one of the lucky drops I got was a Natural Instinct, and I sold it for 3x. Then I got a few more exalts, mostly just from Chaos Recipe and currency drops, and eventually I was able to craft my bow, which I actually made a video about. You can search my YouTube, there is a guide for Toxic Rain, and in that video I'm explaining how to craft this bow. The only difference would be you go for attack speed instead of damage over time multiplier as a base first mod. You can still go for damage over time multiplier, but attack speed is a little bit better. Okay, so after I got my bow, and to be honest everything else was like 20-30 C together, and this bow is around 10 exalts. And after that I started upgrading a few of the other things, like I got my cluster jewel set up, carcass jack, since I no longer need tabula, and everything else is, to be honest, just some random life and resists, a ring with dot multi, second one with despair on hit, and amulet with +1 chaos skill gems. In terms of cluster jewels, I have Touch of Cruelty, Unholy Grace and Wicked Pole, and Student of Decay, Wicked Pole here, and Eternal Suffering and Wicked Pole. And small jewels, just life, attack speed, and chaos damage over time multiplier. I believe I have one with attack speed, chaos damage over time multiplier, like this one. And one nice thing about playing Toxic Rain right now is the fact that a lot of items are very cheap. When Toxic Rain was meta, Hunter Orb, that is required to craft this bow, was 4 exalts, and I was able to buy it for just 1 exalt. And this jewel, which to be honest is actually pretty nice and should be pretty expensive, I was able to buy it for just 20 C. And yeah, a lot of other items were just extremely cheap. Okay, so after I was done farming Endless Heist, I had a few things in plan. And first thing was to just do blueprints, because I just had a lot of reveals from Endless Heist. But the issue with blueprints was that when I was running unusual gems, I was getting a lot of gems that are worth like 30, 40 C, even like 1 exalt. But to be honest, they just don't sell. A lot of people don't really buy alternate quality gems early on, and technically you should get some nice profit from them, but it takes some time to be able to sell all of these items. And this is what's so nice about Endless Heist, because you mostly rely on Chaos Recipe, and you just get your Chaos Orbs just straight into your bank without any trading. So I did blueprints only for like a little bit, and then I wanted to swap to farming logbooks. I didn't really choose which one to go for, either rogue or 2gen or just both of them. But the issue I had with logbook is because I was doing Endless Heist, I had level only 70, because I was constantly resetting my level to be able to buy more contracts. And when you are trading with rogue, his item level of his gear depends on your level of your character. So that was the issue with swapping from Endless Heist to Logbooks. I just needed to get some experience, and this is why I also wanted to do some blueprints so I can get some experience. But to be honest, I didn't really get that much, probably like I think level 75 is what I ended up with after some blueprints. So I decided to go for something that gives me experience, and then I noticed that Simulacrums are actually like 50C only. So what I did is I entered Simulacrums with even worse gear than this, and I was able to do 15 waves, which is not that much, but it was enough to give me like 2 levels per Simulacrum, and I was pretty much just getting my money back. And sometimes I would even drop like a super rare, not really super rare, but just good cluster jewel, and I would sell it for like 50 to 100C. So this way I was able to level up to level 90 pretty quickly. I think I did like 5 Simulacrums, maybe like 7, and I reached level 90. Again, doing just 15 waves, and then I swapped to doing logbooks. And now I pretty much reached a point when I can do whatever I want in terms of a strategy. I can do either continue just doing blueprints, or I can do logbooks, either rogue or 2gen, or continue doing simulacrums. And after I got few more items, now I actually can do 20 waves simulacrum. Not always, sometimes when I hit a very hard wave 20, I can't really kill Cossis, and I very often get like 3 to 4 rewards, but it is still good enough to do simulacrums, especially since they are like 50C right now. They're not crazy profitable, especially if you're doing only up to 20 waves, but they're still pretty nice. So again, in case you're wondering what I'm gonna do in the next few days, it's gonna be probably either logbooks, 2gen or rogue, or 2gen or rogue, or simulacrums. Probably not gonna go with blueprints, but that's what I'm gonna go for. And if I'm gonna decide to go for simulacrums, I'm gonna have to make some changes in my build. I'm probably gonna go for Zerfis Hard Amulet. I'm gonna swap to Pathfinder so I have better uptime on flasks and good recovery, and eventually I'm gonna move on to having second class jewel setup. There is a few other things that I want to try out this league. I want to make some changes to the build that I have been always using for simulacrums, but I guess we'll have to see how it's gonna go and if I actually need these changes. So if you wanna see more of my progress, you can always check out my stream, and I'm pretty much streaming all the time when I'm playing during the league start. So my channel is ZenM on Twitch. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.